Welcome to week 2, lecture 4. Up till now, in lecture 3, 2 and 1, we covered the fundamental of fitness training. We started from very fundamental basic principles that can be applied for health specific fitness as well as sport specific fitness, and we advanced towards the principles which are specifically applied for sports training. Now let's go our understanding with how do you do sports training by using the concept of periodization. So the objectives of lecture 4 are to define the term periodization and to know the concept of periodization. The second objective is to know the types of periodized planning. And the third objective is to know sports periodization. The outcome of lecture 4 is to recall and describe the concept of periodization and to select the type of periodized planning. So at the end of this lecture, you should be able to now figure out what type of planning you required in order to achieve your in order to increase your sports specific fitness level. Let's begin by defining the term periodization. Periodization is defined as a method of training by which the training is divided into smaller, easy to manage segments, and these segments are called as phases. Now, by definition, the term period means time frame. Now, this definition can be explained by understanding the time frame. So, you have to divide the time, which can be counted as weeks or months or years. So, you divide a year into months, you divide the months into weeks, you divide the weeks into number of training sessions in such a way that it is easy for you to manage the training for per session, per week, per month and per year basis. This concept is called as periodization. Now let's expand our understanding beyond the definition. As you said, periodization is a method of training. So this method can be implemented by first planning and then programming. So what does a programming means? Programming is nothing but the first principle of training, which is FITTVP. And how do you actually do programming? By manipulating FITTVPs. That is, you change frequency, you change intensity, you change type, you change volume, or you just simply change the progression. And this can be implemented by the previous concept, load theories. Now what is planning? Planning is selection of the fitness variables. This can be health specific fitness variable or sports specific fitness variable. And then organizing this fitness variable in such a way that you achieve at the end of the training session the desired fitness level. And how do you do planning? You do planning by selecting periodized plans. So we have already come across one of such planning, sequential planning, in the previous principles, fitness and fatigue paradigm. So in short, periodization can be implemented by planning and programming done together rather than doing it separately. Now let's understand and know what are the different types of periodized planning. There are three types of periodized planning. Parallel plan, which is also called as traditional planning, sequential planning, which is also called as block planning, or emphasized planning. Traditional planning or parallel periodized planning includes training multiple fitness variables simultaneously. And this type of method of training, this method of planning is applied for a novice athlete or an athlete who have a less experience or less training sessions experience. Now let's understand parallel planning with an example. Now as per the definition, parallel planning is you choose multiple fitness variable. So for week 1, as an example, you want to improve your cardio capacity, you want to improve your muscular strength, and you want to improve your speed. and you train all these fitness variables together within a week. Now you may choose a different types of loading paradigm as per your fitness level and as per your preference. Now this is an example of how you can implement a parallel periodized planning. Now a sequential planning. A sequential planning is where you train a fitness variable one after another in a logical sequence. As an example, if you want to improve your power fitness, that is your explosive strength, the sequence that you need to follow is you have to first develop your muscle mass, then you need to develop your max strength, and then you need to develop your explosive strength. If you follow this routine, there is a very high and strong scientific literature that says that your power explosiveness, your explosive strength improves much more optimally in compared to training only explosive strength. Emphasize planning includes a parameter of parallel planning as well as sequential planning. And this type of planning is used for an intermediate or an advanced type of athlete. Let me explain this with a graphical representation. Let's say you want to improve two fitness variables, A and B. Now, you train both the fitness variable parallelly but in a sequence. So, initially you give more emphasis to fitness variable A, which is represented by green line. So here you give a stimulation to fitness variable A, and fitness variable B you give a retaining week. And as you move ahead during the time, week by week, the emphasis from fitness variable A drops and emphasis of fitness variable B increases. So in the next block of your programming, there is more emphasis on fitness variable B now, which is reflected in blue line. And there is a detraining load that is less emphasis on fitness variable A. So this way, you train both the fitness variables together, but for a given period of time, you focus on giving more stimulation to one type of fitness while you give a detraining or retaining load to the another fitness variables. This is how you can implement and emphasize planning. So to summarize, a periodization is a method of training which includes planning and programming. Structured fitness variable to suit the sports demand of an athlete. It means that what fitness variable you need to improve, that depends upon what sport specific fitness level you want to improve. So you choose sport specific fitness variable and you sequence it in such a way that your sport specific fitness variables are improved and you are ready for the competition. Customize your periodized plan by choosing an optimal planning to suit the athlete's training experience. Thank you.